everybody. Good morning. Thank you again for joining me out here on the beach. Every day it's just a little different, but it's beautiful every single time. So today, the topic that I want to speak about is sobriety after a relapse. Now that's not something that we talk about a lot. You know, I've met plenty of people in recovery who have decided to get sober, picked up a white chip or a key tag or whatever. They start and they never look back. And I tell you what, my hat goes off to those who have done that. It's fantastic. But those of us, me included, who have dealt with relapse, I tell you what, coming back after a relapse is tough. It's tough. But it's possible. Okay? I want you to know that it is possible. There's some good points and bad points, and we're going to cover those today. Okay? First of all, let me just say that to be able to relapse, you have to have been sober first, right? Otherwise, it's not a relapse, it's just a lapse, I guess. I don't know. No, it's not even a lapse. You have to be sober to be able to relapse. So you know that it's possible to get sober. Getting sober is a lot tougher than staying sober. Now, you know, I may get some feedback on that one, but I have a harder time getting sober than I do staying sober. Staying sober is a joy, as long as I stay on the path. The problem is that for this guy, anyway, what I've done in the past, my relapses have been basically due to the fact that I get comfortable. I get to a point in recovery where I'm like, you know what, this is so much better than before. I'm good now. Thank you so much. And I go off and do my own thing. Now, you know, regardless of, you know, stop going to meetings, stop calling your sponsor, all of these different things that people do that bring on a relapse, okay, those are relapse prevention kind of things. All right, and this, I didn't want this video to be about relapse prevention, but I really feel like I should touch on that a little bit, you know, because staying sober is relapse prevention, okay? And staying sober requires some things out of me on a regular basis. Calling my sponsor, attending meetings, getting into service work, getting out of myself, doing something for somebody else for a change, you know? Doing step work, all of these things that, you know, learning to pray to God and work on this relationship with a power greater than myself. These are all things that I can do to prevent a relapse. But there are also things that I do to stay sober. You know, how do I prevent relapse? I stay sober. You know, we all know how to drink. We all know how to get messed up, right? But do we know how to live in this world without alcohol, without the drugs, without all the other things that we use in our lives to survive? Can we survive without those things? The answer is yes. Not only survive, it's way more than just existing. It's actually having a life. And I encourage you, if you know, first of all, those of you who are just like on the fence there, whether you're in recovery or not in recovery, let me just say this. If you're not all in recovery, you're not in recovery. You're getting your toes wet, all right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat this thing. You're either in completely or you're not in at all, okay? So it's up to you to make that decision. Are you all in recovery? Or are you just, you know, I kind of want to quit drinking. I know I need to, but it sounds like a lot of work. You know what? Come back and see me when things get worse, because they will. That's one of the things about relapse. It's a learning process, I can tell you that. I've done it many, many times, okay? I really feel a lot more confident about my recovery today. In those days, my recovery was contingent upon certain things, you know? Hey, as long as God provides this or that, or as long as my life is like an even keeled and great, you can't do that. Okay? I can't do that. The thing that I have to keep in mind is that I'm in recovery for recovery. That's the sole purpose of my being in recovery, is to recover, to stay sober and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. I don't think I can stress that enough, that you're either in recovery, all in, or you're not in recovery at all. I think that was probably one of my biggest issues. It was like always just getting my toes a little wet, Oh, I'm supposed to call my sponsor? Okay, so I call my sponsor. Once a month, I'm supposed to read the big book? Yeah, every now and then. How important is it? How important is it? So, anyway, back to our topic, okay? Let's say that you're all in and you've had a relapse. The thoughts that go through your mind, oh man, the things that I said in that meeting, these people aren't going to trust me at all anymore. And, I have let so many people down, and, it's so tough. I can't live with myself. The self-loathing and will I ever be able to get this thing? And, those kind of thoughts that go through our head. Let me just say, tell your head to shut up, okay? It's one day at a time. Every single day, I have to be in recovery. The same as the guy that relapsed yesterday, who wants to be in recovery today. He's got to take the action. I've got to take the action every single day to remain sober. Yes, getting sober is more difficult than staying sober. Prove me wrong. Getting sober means that I have to change everything. Everything. People, places, things, all of it. So coming back after a relapse, I learned a lot of things doing that, because I was chronically relapsing for years. Like about 13 years I was relapsing. In and out, in and out, in and out. You can't help but get an education from that. Some of the things that I've learned is that recovery continues on without you. There are people that will stay sober while you're out there. When you come back, they're still sitting there in the same seat that they were sitting in when you left. Another thing that I learned, and this is a big one, is that it never, ever gets better. It always gets worse. Okay? It always gets worse. The next time you have a thought in your head of, I think it might be a good idea to pick up a drink, I want you to consider what the consequences are going to look like this time. Because they're going to be worse than the last time. It's a given. That's a for sure thing. It's going to be worse this time than it was the last time. So, in keeping with one day at a time, if you're at day one after a relapse, okay, do the same thing I'm doing today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you've been sober. The action that we take is exactly the same. Don't let your thoughts and your emotions and all that stuff get in the way of your recovery. when you're in recovery, all in recovery, you're going to experience a life like you've never known before. And maybe you have known it a little bit, but you haven't experienced the whole thing yet because you relapsed. I know, because I've been there. See, I have experienced a lot more in recovery today, but I know that there's way more yet for me to experience. Recovery doesn't just like give you one or two things. It gives you a life. It gives you a life that's second to none. So if you've relapsed and you're having a hard time getting back on the wagon or whatever, however you want to say that, if you're having a hard time getting back into recovery, just know that you're not alone. There are many of us out here who have gone through that and still managed to put together some time. We have found a way to be in and stay in recovery. So don't think your situation is hopeless, because it's not. There's many of us, many of us. And in fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, check the comments, because I'm going to ask, anybody here with, just one white chip or one attempt at recovery, or have you guys relapsed at all? I'd love to know, have you relapsed and made it back and are very comfortable in your recovery today? I'm spreading a message of hope. If you've relapsed and you want recovery, come and get it. Come and get it. It's just going to take some effort on your part, and nothing more than what I'm doing today. So if you want recovery, maybe you've had a taste of recovery. Maybe you've experienced some of the gifts of being sober. Maybe you haven't. But if sobriety is what you want, if recovery is what you want, then it needs to be the top priority in your life. I can't stress that one enough. It's got to be number one. You got to be willing to go to any lengths for sobriety. Any lengths. No contingencies, no reservations. All in recovery. If you've relapsed and you're feeling bad about it, get past it. Get over it. Be courageous. Walk back into the rooms. Ask for help. Recovery is not only possible, but it's the most important thing you can do for yourself. You get into recovery and stay in recovery, you'll be able to live happy, joyous, free. Hey, you guys hang in there, man. Stay sober, and I'll see you on the next video.